do what you can do. You do what you're good at, and you do it in any way that you can. And I'm not going to go into that further tonight because I get on a soapbox. But we do have a responsibility here, and I appreciate you showing the desire to demonstrate that responsibility. Whatever you're good at, you do it, and do it in a good and constructive way for all of us, and then we'll go from there. And maybe that was vague, but there's too many ways that question can go. There is no formal organized body of protest or presentation of grievances, and there is no official or formal body acknowledging responsibility for conduct of these operations. So that means we have to work at a human level, case by case. Do you see any connection between the issue of geoengineering and the aerosol operations? I'll give a positive yes to that one. I don't view them as being even anything separate. The term geoengineering is gaining a little bit of popularity, and personally, I'm all for that. At this point, I think it's fine. I was a geodesist at one time. It's a little bit of an unusual profession. But geo means Earth. And so we're saying that a term is finally coming into existence, which is a little bit, let's say, more realistic and appropriate to describe the scope and scale of the operations. And that's the term geoengineering, and it makes sense, and I like it. And it doesn't necessarily encompass everything. In fact, I haven't really made my mark on that term yet, but I think we're going to need to also be including the term bioengineering pretty soon. It's also appropriate. But, to get a start with geoengineering, that's fine. I've never had any particular favor towards the term chemtrail. I don't use it at all. I think it's sort of a nonsensical word that has just fraught with difficulties and problems. I won't get into my diatribe on that tonight. But language is used to marginalize issues, and when you create a term or use a term that has no formal definition, that has no acceptance in any kind of formal communication, has no history, then you open it up to marginalizing that topic, which is exactly what's been done. And so for those folks that are understanding that a more appropriate and realistic term that does describe what's happening, that is the intentional alteration and or modification of the Earth. Geoengineering is a pretty good start, and I'm favoring the increase in acceptance and distribution of that term. Can one say the artificial ones replace the natural ones? No, I don't. And I think Andrew's talking about the blood cells. He's asking, can the artificial ones did they replace the natural ones? I don't know the answer to that. At this point, I would say no. You're talking about something on such a massive scale. It's possible, but, we would need the means. The answer to that is we would need the means to, first of all, identify the distinctions between that which has been cultivated in a controlled environment and those cells within the body. Anytime I look at my blood and the smallest drop I can get and I see, 100,000 cells, it's like, I don't know what we have. Who's who? So I don't know. At this point, I certainly can't say that that's the case. I can't say it's not. But there's a whole lot of work to be done there, and we need some pretty good lab work to be distinguishing between the properties of the individual cells. How are they different, that type of thing, and you have to account and all that. So, only got about 3 minutes left, and I will hold to my time for both your sake as well as mine. So we'll probably start to wind down here pretty soon, and because of that, I'm going to take the liberty of just trying to select one question or two. And if I can combine them, if they're related, let me look at what's going on here. First one is talking about, is there a game plan or a timeline for the sharing of this fantastic life-changing discovery to the masses, or in general, are we too naive to accept this revelation? Great question. And then colloidal silver has been said to be an effective agent along with blood electrification and the application of electromagnetic pulses. Any thoughts on these as a methodology? Okay, I'll try to take these two, and then we'll probably start to shut it down. And I'll take the second one first because I'll go back. You'll get tired of me, I suppose, but I'll go right back to what I said before. And that is, when we say somebody has said something works, right? Colloidal silver has been said to be an effective agent, along with blood electrification and application of electromagnetic pulse. Any thoughts on these as a methodology? Well, I don't have any problem with, let's say, the methodology, any methodology which does not harm the organism or damage it, at least to any kind of degree that overwhelms the benefit. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I'm not a doctor, and that's where the doctors need to be involved to be doing their work. But in general, I don't have a problem with any methodology which is healthful for the human being, and that in itself can be controversial, and we may all need to decide that by ourselves. So I think that's really what he's asking on the methodology. And those particular things, do I know if they work? Again, show me the work. Who's ever saying it? If somebody says it, then show me the work. And I mean show us the work. It's not just me. If any of us make any claims, we are to make that information available if we wish the reasoning to have any merit. So some work would need to be done there also. I'll start to shut this down with this last one, which that was a very interesting comment there, right? Scott's asking, is there a game plan or timeline for the sharing of this fantastic, life-changing discovery to the masses, or in general, are we too naive to accept this revelation? Wow. I'm not going to give an answer. Let's just say I share your question, right? I'm asking this also. Do we want to know? Do we want to know? Is a big question in itself. We have learned that many of us do not want to know. No matter what it is, many of us do not want to know. Many of us are afraid to know. And if something takes us into the unknown, then it's often easier just to avoid it. And we know that is taking place also. I can only say that, I do not accept or submit to any role or any existence of capitulation to ignorance or denial. I guess I can only speak for myself, and I hope that all of us will at least seek out the answer to that question honestly. And my hope is that we're not too naive, and that we're not too ignorant as a species, or as guardians or custodians of this particular planet, to confront that which is before us. That would be my hope, and that's the premise upon which I operate. So that was a great question to end with. Thanks. We should all be asking that. So it's a couple minutes after 8, so I'm going to go ahead and shut down. And I want to thank again all of you for doing this. If you think it worked and the idea worked, you can send an email. My public address is CEC, as in Charlie Echo Charlie, CEC102@USA.com. And if you have any comments, or if there were any problems, or you think I did a rotten job, or you want to see something different, let me know. And if you think if there's sufficient interest and you think this is beneficial, I may well carry on and carry forward with it. So have a great evening, everybody. And if it all worked, it was a great experiment tonight, and you were a part of it. And we carry on. And thanks a whole lot.